Hey there, this is me, Malorian, and it's time for some more Warmachine battle reports. And this time, it's time for day 3 of Grotscon 2018, and that means time for the Alberta Warmachine Invitational. All season, all the tournaments from across Alberta have been gaining people points depending on where you place and all that type of stuff. It's all based off your ratios and then taking your top 4 scores and all that stuff. And yeah, I made it in, kind of middle of the pack of the top 16. So that is awesome. I have actually made it every year, not to brag, but you know, I'm always kind of happy I'm able to keep that record going. And this year is kind of another repeat where I'm up against another Brian from Calgary in the first round. Because the whole thing where like first is up against last and all that type of a thing. And so really my objective in this Alberta Warmachine Invitational is not to win the whole thing. I just want to beat Brian. That's it. Because for those who don't know, in Alberta, there's a big Edmonton versus Calgary thing. So if I can knock out my Calgary opponent and try and make sure Edmonton ends up on top, hey, that's what it's all about. Also, I have a surprise. Whereas before, it's been Magnus 2 and Osram and that type of a thing. Well, now I am breaking out the Signar and I have Nemo3 and Siege. They're almost exactly the same list with all the lightning and fireflies and things. But really, this lets me do whatever tools I want. And plus, I was hoping to try and trick the troll player because I know there's kind of like this anti-Signar troll build I've been seeing in Calgary with a lot of, you know, Earthborns and things like that. And the great thing about the Nemo3 list is that with all the fireflies and with Finch, you're able to actually fully load up all of the fireflies and also Dynamo. So you can actually do a pretty good job in combat if you don't have. Unfortunately, he did not run that whatsoever. I put in all these thoughts of how I'm going to be countering Madrak 1 and countering this anti-Signar build and dealing with Cold Grima. And in the end, don't you know that this is Finch? He does his own things, Brian, and he's doing Doobie too, because that's just what Brian does. You know, that's what happens sometimes when we try and guess where the meta is going to go, and it just doesn't go that way whatsoever. So the big thing here, guys, is I decided again to go with my Nemo3 to make sure I have some fight if he gets to me. And the thing is here is with Doomy 2, he threats 14 inches. So if I'm shooting him, he's also hitting me. So that's going to be a bit of a danger, but the nice thing is that this scenario is perfect for me. There's 2 big things that I can lock down here with my Jackson Battle Engine. You know, it's just the things I can score. I have some solos that can go for the flag. So really, what I'm planning to do here is some high attrition and then try and win this on scenario. So he goes first. I really wish I could have gone first, but that's the way it goes. And he's going to kind of run up there. So Doomy currently is kind of central. You know, he's kind of staying back. You know, he has those fire breathers on either side. I thought they might go up a little bit further, but he's kind of scared of me shooting them. Of course, the Earthborn's really happy to get up there. But yeah, so far, not so bad. So on my turn, I just make sure to stay out of his threat range, get up there. I have Arcane Shield up onto the Storm Strider, and then I have the spell that gives me +2 strength and Electro Leaps on a Dynamo. And yeah, I'm ready to see what he gives me and what we're going to start stabbing. And so he actually doesn't do too much. He kind of spreads out his fire eaters on our breathers on either side. I think kind of like to try and tempt me in. He has Earthborn that's kind of getting a little tempting in there. He tried lobbing some bombs, trying to see if he gets lucky. Nothing there. But otherwise, that's kind of it. He's really playing very cautiously. Now, I gotta say that I got a little bit thrown off my game right now, because during this turn right now, one of the judges for this Alberta Warmachine Invitational was Bubba Dalton from what is it, Ontario? I almost said BC. No, the other side of Canada. And so Bubba came all the way over here to Alberta for the event. Wasn't playing in the Invitational, of course, so he was doing some judging, and I gotta say, him watching me got me pretty nervous, and I'm not gonna play this next turn as well as I should have. So first of all, this turn took me longer than it should have, but what I ended up doing was being able to kill off all the fire eaters, which is good. But one of the things is that while I was doing that, I was kind of just lazily pushing up all my fireflies. So whereas I kind of thought like, oh, I'll give him a couple of things he can charge with, say, like his Earthborn, I did not plan for him to be able to charge me with, say, like the Mauler and the Bomber. So I really gave him a lot more targets than I needed to, and we'll see if I'm going to pay the price. So on his turn then, he's going to come into me, he's going to feat, and actually he didn't destroy as many fireflies as I thought. That's because he's going for like a crazy throw play, where first the Earthborn came in, and it kind of threw a firefly at Strangeways, it knocked me down, and then he tried to kill me with bombers, and it just didn't work. I was really lucky where he had some bad dice, and I think maybe the bomber might have actually gone first, because if it would have gone second, I would have been toast. But yeah, that was not too bad whatsoever. Otherwise, the Mauler destroys a firefly, the Mulg destroys a firefly, and so it's not really the best that I'm in this position here. You know, he scores 1 point for his own zone, but now I'm in a spot where I can at least counterattack. I have my feet in hand, I have all these beasts in my face, and so what I'm really hoping to do is use my feet to destroy the Bomber and the Mauler. I want to force hammer away Mulg, and then Dynamo is going to come in and stabby that Earthborn and hopefully take it down too. And then hopefully that then he won't really have anything to really stop me from starting to score on the right side. I'll have something like some Firefly that'll get into his zone, and then after that I can just focus everything on the Mulg and I'll be happy. Unless, of course, the Mulg has ability where it just uses up a Fury and ignores a spell. So that really screwed things up. Basically, Nemo feats, he starts doing some shooting and stuff, and then goes for the Force Hammer. He cancels the Force Hammer, and that's when I realized, oh my god, I'm standing there right in front of Mulg. It was super bad. You know, if I would have remembered that, I could have easily gone the other way, but I didn't. So either way, though, the whole bunch of shooting on their feet was able to kill those two heavies. So both the Mauler and the Bomber, they're gonzo. That's amazing. Dynamo, I had to kind of then make a choice of which way to go, but I kind of figured I could get enough things in Mulg's way. So I was able to get over there and stabby the Earthborn really had some kind of crappy dice. So he's hurting, but he's not the dead that I wanted him to be. And then otherwise, yeah, oh, I didn't mention this. Of course, I had to start this off by running up a Firefly and then doing an Electro Leap into a stone to take that away. But yeah, otherwise, I'm just trying to put some models in Mulg's way and really hope that keeps me alive. Now, of course, I score on my flag here, so that's awesome. I'm now counter scoring, but yeah, that's a little bit dangerous. So on his turn then, he's going to have to try and come into me and kill me because he knows he's kind of in a bad spot. His Earthborn frenzies, did his Earthborn frenzy? I think it did. I know his Axer frenzied for sure and went to his objective. If nothing else, you know, the Earthborn didn't really do much of anything. So yeah, it must have frenzied into the objective. But all that stuff really doesn't matter. What really matters is Mulg trying to get onto my caster. Now, one of the big things that saved me is that Doomy was like a millimeter or two short of putting up rush onto him. If that was going on, I'd be dead. And so really what I had to do is kind of like smash his way towards me, just kill and overtake. And I called over the judge. I was like, all right, Bubba, if you're going to stay here and stress me out, at least, you know, measure this out. So we made sure everything was good and perfect. And as it turned out, he came up short. He didn't even get to make one swing on me. So Nemo's going to live. And with that, then I'm in a pretty good spot because I'm going to score again on my turn. And I could try and go for the assassination, but it's a lot easier just to go and try and win by scenario. So that's really what I do. I just have to go and destroy his objective, destroy the thing in my zone. I'm going to score the zone. I'm going to go and score the flag. I don't even need to contest his zone because there's nothing over there. And that's going to be it. I'm going to win this one by scenario. So kind of a sloppy win. And man, it's crazy. You know, there's all these troll players in Calgary, but there's hardly any current troll players in Edmonton. So, you know, things like this, like with Mulg, I should have known that. That's something where it was a change a while ago. I'm sure almost every out there is like, wow, Malorian, you're an idiot. But hey, if you're not facing these things often, what are you going to do? Like the one troll player that we do have in our group, and whenever I get to face him, he likes to run double Mountain Kings. I never see Mulg from him playing. So that's just kind of the way it goes. So either way, I beat him. I'm now going into the top 8, and we'll see what happens next. And as it turns out, I am now going to be up against a fellow club mate, Jordan here. And he's the guy that was trying, like, you know, I'm trying to follow his lead and go for assassination. And I think I'm going to need to do that in this one here, because it's now going to be a Signar Mirror. Luckily for me, he's not in Storm Division, so he's not immune to all the lightning. But I know from trying to play this type of matchup before that it really doesn't go well for me. As long as he spaces out and doesn't give me a lot of Electroleaps to have a good feat turn, pretty much I get to kind of go up there, maybe destroy one Jack and hurt another, and then he's going to feat rush into me and take away all my important pieces, and I just can't claw my way back from there. As much as I like all my POW 13 stabby stabs, they just cannot compete with all the Centurions and Hammersmiths and stuff like that. So really in this game here, I'm heavily going to be looking for the assassination, and if I don't get it, whatever, Edmonton still moves on. So that's what I do. Well, I don't do anything on this turn. He gets to go first, so again, that's super sad for me, because now he's really getting up there to put the threat on to me. So now that's going to really heavily control where I go. As it lines up, I am going to get some starter damage onto the Hammersmith there, so that'll be pretty good the way that this is spaced out, because he's like 1 inch slower than everybody else. I have like this magic spot where I can be shooting the Hammersmith and being out of range of everything else, so I can get some like initial damage, but it really won't matter because of course his mechanics will fix it and blah 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 blah. So that's what I do, get that initial damage onto the Hammersmith. I'm trying to space myself out because if he decides just to feat and like run into me, I don't want him to be engaging too much. Plus, he has that one spell countermeasures, so that if he puts that in onto something and rushes into my face, of course, everything within 5 can't even shoot anyway, so I really need to kind of watch my spacing. And at this point here, yeah, I'm just trying to tease him and say like, come on, show yourself, come on. He is being pretty careful though, so on this turn here, of course, again, there's not too much he can do, but what he does do is really shift to the right. So clearly he's looking just to contest the left zone. He says like, go ahead, come into that middle zone. If I want to go and score the middle, he'll just destroy whatever's there for free, and clearly he is making a strong play on the right. Now on this turn, he does have his chargers that are able to shoot at the pink Firefly, and thanks to that cover, doesn't really do very much. But at the same time, even though this is like a Centurion that's in my face and has low defense, it also has admonition, by the way, which will be annoying. But because it has that cover, it's actually defense then 15 against my shooting. And if I want to try and shoot it, that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to try, and really if I can't do anything else this turn, I want to take off that Centurion. And if I do that and just slowly try and take one heavy at a time, it might force him to come into me and maybe make a mistake. Unfortunately, it just did not go my way. The biggest thing that sucked is that my very first shot with Dynamo missed, even with the reroll. So losing all that potential damage, yeah, really was super bad. Although I did get lucky after with the one Firefly, I was able to go behind after and then take a shot into him. So of course, when I'm shooting him in the back, I'm ignoring the shield. And from that, I also destroyed the Cortex. So that's fantastic. That just kind of like slows him down and let me get just that little bit closer to being able to do something here. So on his turn then, he's really starting to consolidate there. He's going to be scoring 2 points and also sending that Centurion into me. So I believe that might be the one that he had countermeasures on. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a Centurion to my face. But basically, he just kind of like rotates his heavies where the Centurion comes into me, and then the Hammersmith goes to where it was before. And now that one has admonition. So whereas I'd really like to try and find some way to get onto him, I just really can't do it. It doesn't really seem. I mean, Cray is there, but I'm not in a good spot to get much of anything onto him. Since I'm so far away with Nemo, I can't get a lot of things there to try and like slam something. So I'm just going to try and hold this one more turn. I know things are getting dangerous with Scenario, but hopefully I can kind of lock that down a bit, kind of mitigate that, and then again, try and set up that assassination for later. So that's what I do. Dynamo goes and stabs away the one that's in front of me. I then try and do some extra shots against the Centurion, the other Centurion there, and I'm not able to really do too much. Of course, I'm able to contest both the zones, so he's not able to do too much. The Hammersmith actually got further away, so I couldn't do much damage to it, and so I'm kind of like creeping towards Cray there, but again, this is not really the best situation. Now, we actually wondered if I was just like dead right now, because of course he's on 2 points, he only needs 5 to win, so if he just destroys these 2 Fireflies, which is super easy for his force, and then Cray runs into the zone, he could win. But by running into the zone, I mean the one on the far left. But as it turns out, since you need to do some spells to get things there, he is outside of advance and repo into the zone, so it's not actually possible for him to win on this next turn. So that's good. Otherwise, though, he does really get all over and in my face. So he's going to get in there and start destroying some Fireflies. The 2 ones are up front and kind of going into my face here. And the best thing for me, though, is that even though he scores 2, so now it's 4-0 and super scary, Cray did not go into the forest. So there might still be a chance here. So what I need to be able to do then is I need to get my Storm Strider up far enough so I can shard something and be in range of Cray as well. I might also be able to get some more damage on Cray, where if I'm able to run around the Hammersmith, survive the free strike, I might be able to actually like slam the Firefly up close enough that I can then Electroleap onto it. But otherwise, my other plan then is to try and really get the massive damage, is that Dynamo is going to slam that Centurion, and I needed to go just in the right spot. So I needed to roll like a 3 or a 4 for distance, and then I can charge it and get distance so I can actually be shooting Cray. This is one where, like, when we were planning it out, again, we called over the judges and say, like, is this all making sense? Is this good? And it was, so let's see if it works. So in the beginning, it doesn't work whatsoever. I go there to run around with a Firefly. He takes a free strike. It just gets nailed. And then, it goes and it loses its movement and it's basically done. So, okay, that didn't work. So then what I did is I came over here with Nemo. He was, of course, going to be turning away so that he can't see anything with his staff, so he can actually shoot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop feet, and I'm going to shoot at Cray. That missed, so that's not good. But then Dynamo is able to slam his jack. It goes to exactly over much where I need it. I charge through with the Storm Strider, and with my 2 shots was able to get the damage to kill Cray. And I was like, oh my god, like, this is perfect. Here's a guy where I'm trying to not do my scenario way and start going for assassination. And this is almost like, like the pupil finally gained the respect of the master. It's like, yes, I got the damage I needed. I pulled off the assassination. Because again, man, like, this game was pretty much over. If Cray was behind the forest, or just like if he just like booked it away and stayed safe, I was super dead. So I'm lucky I even had the opportunity, but hey, I was able to craft something together and it all came through. So now I'm in the top 4. And so now I'm getting a little bit even more nervous. And so game 4 here now is going to be up against another club mate, Josh. And this is really now super mega bad. Now, they did kind of pull out some other terrain here. So the thing there in the middle that's all black, they just kind of told us, like, that's a flaming cloud. So just going to know that. But otherwise, one of the things that Josh always tells me is that his Grimkin are made to destroy Nemo. It's all based here to try and take away all the Electroleaps, protect itself. And I mean, like, Dreamer just does so well against Nemo. So right away in my mind, and of course also just doing that to Jordan, I'm thinking assassination, assassination, assassination. So really then picking between my 2 casters, I decided that Siege would be the best answer, because if he goes in Corporal, I'll be able to hand out the magic shots. If he goes Stealth, I'll be able to see through it with Mage Sight. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to go up there, but again, this is really all in on assassination. Luckily, this time I get to go first, so really I'm just rushing up the board, and then I'm going to be putting Explosivo up onto the left Strider. On the right, I'm going to be putting up the Arcane Shield, and again, I'm just kind of hoping he gives me something that I can unlock and get to Dreamer. So on his turn then, he kind of builds this like super knot here. And so he has a couple of things in my face, but yeah, pretty much here, I had to look at this for a while. And there's just so many complicated things here. And what I thought I might be able to do is like slam the front, Skin and Bones. And then I'd be able to see Dreamer, and then I'd have to like, shoot and have something else to arc onto it and all these things. And then I realized, oh yeah, I can't even do a slam here, because even though I screwed up against Mulg, I realized here that the Cage Rager can just cancel it. So I might as well not even go for this, and without that sort of slam, there's just nothing possible for the assassination. So all I'm going to do then is just try and kill these two lights in my faces, and then try and hope that something else opens up. So that's what I do, just kind of like peace out. I give magic attacks to one of the fireflies. It comes up and it kills off one of the gremlin swarms. So that's pretty nice. Otherwise, I'm able to kill off the two other gorehounds. And again, as you can see here, I'm just backing off, staying out of his threat, and just waiting to be able to get something nasty on him. Unfortunately, though, he's starting to get some pretty nasty stuff on to me, and what that is then is that he has that one spell, I can't remember what it is, but if you do damage, you get to place the model 3 inches, and so whereas I thought I was pretty much safe, I forgot that, oh yeah, you can place battle engines, so he brings up one of my battle engines, and then the one Skin and Bones is able to get into it, and that's super sad times. So I'm down a battle engine, which is super bad, and he's also having like, he's in corporal this turn, so it's going to be super tough for me to try to find some way to do this. So what I'm going to do then is I figure that here we go, we're all in on assassination. And so what I need to have happen is I'm going to be having to go up there, pop my feet, do True Sight. I really need to be able to go then to do my ground and pounder and kill off his one last Crabbit to take away the shield guard. Then I'm going to have, because I have the True Sight down, the Mage Sight rather, then Firefly number 1 is going to be able to come in and slam and knock down that one Cage Rager that's in the front. And then the way that things are all lined up, if I put Explosivo onto Firefly number 4, it can go up and it can shoot, oh, which one is it? I think actually I had to shoot Dreamer directly, and then pretty much I'm just like all in. He has no shield guards. I just have to really boost that damage. Of course, it'll be a feat damage, and he has no transfers, so if I roll high, she dies. Now, I'm going to say right now that this fails, but one of the things to look from here that I was told after is look how easy I could be going up on scenario rather. I could be going and saying, you know what? I'm just going to go and kill his one little pumpkin thing on the left. I can go kill his one little gremlin swarm on the right. And then all I need to do is kind of like focus my fire on the one Skin and Bones, kill that, kill his objective. I'm up 3 points, he's down a heavy, and now he's really forced to kind of like unlock himself and open himself up, which would be giving me a better shot for assassination later, but I just totally didn't see that. So if I don't say it now, you're not going to see it later, so let's go on with this assassination. And pretty much it just super mega fails. So I go up there, I try and kill that Crabbit, and that fails. So once the Crabbit was dead, or not dead, then it's like, well, I guess maybe the Firefly on the far right could try and kill it. No, that failed as well. And so with that, I just shook his hand and said, you know what? There you go, Josh, you got the game. And that's when he kind of said to me, Brian, you could have gone for that scenario play. And that's where I had to really just like say, man, how did I miss that? I am the scenario guy. I am always looking for that scenario play, but I was so focused on assassination that I didn't even see it. So what I'm going to do now is I always actually had like this reminder in my token kit saying, you know, go for the assassination. I think it's time for that to come out now, and for me just to realize, play your game, look for that scenario, but then, you know, don't get locked into that. Just like how it was bad for me before to be thinking only scenario and not assassination. If I'm only thinking assassination and not scenario, I'm also going to, of course, get myself into trouble. So as it then worked out then, Josh goes forward to fight Garnet in the finals, and then Josh is going to be taking first. Garnet's going to be taking second, and then I actually get third. So that means Edmonton takes first, second, and third of the Alberta Warmachine Invitational, and so our club is over the moon. That is amazing. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. This will be then concluding all the tournament ports from Grotscon. Don't worry, there'll be more battle reports and things coming on later. But yeah, I hope you like this. I hope you like watching. If you have any comments or anything like that, please just post them down below. I always love to see when you guys say like, oh man, you should have done that, or we had some questions about things. I just love chatting with you guys. So if you got any of that, please put it down below. And otherwise, we'll catch you later. Bye. Hey there, if you liked watching this video, please go down and give it a like down below you here. And if you have any concerns or questions or comments, please put those in the comment section as well. You know, the best way for me to give you what you want to see is if you tell me what you like seeing and what you don't like seeing. So otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.